April 24th, in history. And in 1558, the young Queen of Scots stood at the heart of European power. Scotland and France were bound by alliance, and a royal marriage would seal their fate. On April 24th, Mary wed Francis, Dauphin of France, at Notre Dame in Paris. She wore white, a shocking, unconventional choice that stunned the royal court. The union briefly joined Scotland and France, making Mary a rival to England's throne. Her white gown foreshadowed a tradition Queen Victoria would cement centuries later. In 1862, the Mississippi River was the Confederacy's lifeline. Twin forts guarded the approach to New Orleans, the South's greatest city. Before dawn on April 24th, Admiral Farragut's fleet charged upriver under a storm of cannon fire, smoke, and flame, breaking through the Confederate defenses. New Orleans fell the next day, crippling Confederate river control. Farragut's bold assault opened the Mississippi and split the South. In 1863, the United States was torn apart by civil war. President Lincoln sought to bring order and humanity to the brutal conflict raging across the nation. On April 24th, Lincoln approved General Orders No. 100, the Lieber Code, banning torture, protecting prisoners, and separating soldiers from civilians for the first time in law. The Lieber Code echoed across history, inspiring the Hague Conventions and modern international humanitarian law, the foundation protecting civilians in every conflict since. In 1898, Cuba was fighting for independence from Spain. Tensions between Madrid and Washington had been building for months, with American newspapers fanning the flames of war. On April 24, 1898, Spain formally declared war on the United States. American naval forces swiftly destroyed the Spanish fleet, winning a decisive victory in just 15 weeks. Spain surrendered Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. The United States emerged as a global imperial power, forever changing the balance of world influence. In 1915, Constantinople was the heart of a crumbling Ottoman Empire. Armenian communities, among the empire's oldest peoples, lived under mounting suspicion and state hostility. On April 24th, Ottoman authorities arrested over 200 Armenian intellectuals and leaders across the capital. It was the opening act of a systematic campaign of mass deportation and killing. Up to 1.5 million Armenians perished. April 24th is now Remembrance Day worldwide, a symbol of survival, justice, and the duty to never forget. In 1916, Ireland simmered under British rule. Decades of failed reform had pushed Irish Republicans toward a drastic, final gamble for freedom. On Easter Monday, over 1,500 rebels seized Dublin's General Post Office. A lone figure read the proclamation of the Irish Republic aloud to stunned passers-by on Sackville Street. Crushed in 6 days, the rising's executed leaders became martyrs. Their sacrifice ignited the War of Independence, ultimately forging the Irish Free State by 1922. In 1918, the Western Front was locked in brutal stalemate. Near Villers-Bretonneux, France, a new kind of weapon was about to change warfare forever. On April 24th, German A-7 Volt tanks rolled toward British Mark IV tanks, the first tank-versus-tank battle in history. Steel giants clashed in the morning fog. Australian troops retook Villers-Bretonneux by dawn in a bold night charge. The battle proved armored warfare would define modern conflict forever. In 1955, delegates from 29 African and Asian nations gathered in Bandung, Indonesia, united by a shared history of colonialism and a desire for a new world order. For 7 days, leaders including Zhou Enlai and Nasser debated sovereignty, anti-colonialism, and peaceful coexistence, crafting a third world voice independent of both Washington and Moscow. The Bandung Conference seeded the non-aligned movement, giving dozens of newly independent nations a political identity beyond Cold War blocs, reshaping global diplomacy for decades. In 1980, 52 Americans sat hostage in Tehran. For months, President Carter searched for a way to bring them home. Operation Eagle Claw collapsed at Desert One. 3 helicopters failed. Then a collision erupted in fire, killing 8 American soldiers in the Iranian dark. The failure humiliated America and haunted Carter's presidency. It forced a complete rebuilding of U.S. Special Operations Forces for decades to come. In 1990, Space Shuttle Discovery roared off the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center, carrying humanity's most ambitious eye on the universe. Deployed into orbit, the Hubble Space Telescope unfolded its solar panels above Earth, but a flawed mirror blurred its vision until astronauts repaired it in 1993. Hubble revealed galaxies billions of light years away, measured the universe's age, and confirmed dark energy forever transforming how humanity sees the cosmos. In 2013, the Rana Plaza building in Savar, Bangladesh housed thousands of garment workers sewing clothes for global fashion brands. On April 24th, despite visible cracks reported the day before, workers were ordered inside. The building catastrophically collapsed, killing 1,134 people. The disaster forced global fashion brands to sign safety accords and fund factory reforms, reshaping labor standards across international supply chains.